All right. So yes, let me know if you all can hear me okay. We're gonna go ahead and get started. As soon as I know that you all can hear me, give me a thumbs up or let me know in the chat because I am a power hour queen and I want to make sure I honor what I said. So let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay, yes, testing again. Can you all hear me? Can everyone hear me? All right, oh, let me see if y'all can hear me. I had the headphones in. Let me see if y'all can hear me. Okay, last time. I'm trying without my headphones. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Okay, excellent. I couldn't hear anything. So I'll do without the headphones just to be sure. We do have quite a number of people registered for today. However, I do have the recording going. So I'm gonna honor this power hour. And if they come in, they come in, or they'll just get the recording. I want to be respectful of our time. And I want to do this in within our power hour. So thank you, Asante Sana. Thank you for coming. I always know this so many things to do as we prepare to get ready for another wonderful school year for our children. And so I do have this presentation up to keep me focused because I will talk to y'all all night. So there are a few goals today, and one of them is, of course, for those that don't know me, I want to make sure you get to know who I am, what I stand for in the classroom space. Additionally, I want to be very transparent about what this advanced placement journey will entail. And so I believe in transparency. I want parents to know what the expectations are, everything that's going in, the options and choices, so that you can make an informed decision for your scholar. So that's why we are here. You all, after this, will get a copy of the AP handbook, which has most of the things that we're talking about, and also a copy of the recording. So here we are. Oh, lastly, if there are any questions, always jump in the chat. I'm looking at it. I have two devices. So I should be ready to rock and roll and keep up in the chat. And if all else fails, just unmute. Unmute. So, here we go. So this is Advanced Placement AP with Dr. Craddock. I have a PhD in curriculum development. So this is what I do, creating programs and curriculum and all kinds of things that will enhance our scholars. And so AP is one of the projects that I chose to take on this year for a number of different reasons. It gives me a chance to integrate high school support with collegiate thinking and also to infuse the ways into these classes that are taught national, the ways to enhance our scholars and really ground them. And so that's why I chose the AP as the first project of what we're going to do with this academy. And so the academy is JY's Culture Academy, a blend of my arts infused nonprofit that I have, and also DIY and hybrid learning and live classes, of course, coming all together in one space. I am going to put this website in the chat. The AP program is a part of a larger organization where we have a group of about 10 teachers, live, hybrid, DIY program where we bring education. It's an educational marketplace. Families can choose to have live classes, hybrid classes, YouTube courses, self-directed learning, those type of things in curriculum. And so the AP is a one page of this wonderful organization that we are building for our families and communities so that they can have deep, impactful, culturally affirming education without having to worry about it being a monthly bill. And so we work hard to build something that can be sustainable and for us and affordable for families. And so we're looking forward to help making this grow. We are looking forward. So there's the website if anyone wants to check that out. And of course, that will still show in the recording. So I'm excited about that. So now moving on. Who am I? I am an arts, culture, and education specialist. I do arts infused education for preschoolers, for elementary schoolers, and I'm also a storyteller, as well as the cultural arts. I do all kinds of cultural classes dealing with traditional education, traditional culture, and I infuse that to everything that I do. And then, as well as I'm moving into the path of holistic care. So all of those things come together in what I bring to the classroom with young people, because I think those things are very important. When we talk about holistic everything, holistic education is also a part of it. And so I bring those things to the classroom so that our scholars are anchored in what they need to be anchored with to deal with what we have going on all around us. And so, with that, here's a little bit. I'm going to play this clip because I was asked to do this during a pandemic when I was in the physical school. I worked for the public school for about 20 years, 19 years. This is my last year teaching summer school. And so I was in a public school for 20 years. I did middle school, I did high school, I did detention center, which got me into the collegiate part of education as well. I've done homeschool. My son is 17. He's on his last year. So I've been a homeschool mom for 17 years. I've taught all grades. I'm certified in baby arts play. So that's, I think, yeah, infants, the 3 years old, pre-K, and I teach college courses. So education is my passion. I love it. I didn't fall into it by circumstance. I was born into it. So this is our little clip to feel the energy of who I am in the classroom. This was our pandemic clip when we had to do a snippet for our children, our students, our whole school of why do we like teaching. So here's my clip. This is Miss Prada, and this is what I love about teaching. I love walking in each year with a newly found passion, teaching my students about life, turning knowledge into fashion. Love the energy we create when the environment is great, when we all sink in and we're truly learning. I love the light I see when they move from can to can. I love the things that happen that weren't in the plan. I love they observe my life and ask me for my wisdom. I love hearing, is that your tea? Is that your food? Can I have some? I like giving them a mama look when they know they trying it because they know my expectations and they know I'm not buying it. I love the bonds we share because they know I care. I love the ones I don't teach who I'm able to reach. I love giving up my time. It's a lovely sacrifice so they can walk in my door and we can talk about life. I love seeing my students grow in their own special way. I love the crazy things they think and even crazy things they say. There's so many things, but I have to keep it short. I only have 1 minute. I want to be a good sport. Education is my passion and I walk and talk it. Yes, it's true. Above everything I love, to my students, it is you. So that is who I am in the classroom. I love, love, love what I do. I really love what I do. And I want to share that experience with all of my scholars. It has made a difference. Lifelong learning. They keep in touch, I keep in touch. And so that is who I am in the classroom. Now, my pedagogy around my curriculum theory in the classroom is that there are four levels on everything that I teach, whether it is taking on an AP class or whether it is developing my own curriculum, is that there's an African-centered or worldview approach to how we are looking at things, looking at things through our own lens. The 5 sense student worldview is that the students are bringing in what they see, hear, think, feel, because that's important to their learning. Also, having scholarly analysis and advocacy is very, very, very important to me, that scholars know how to assert themselves in reading, writing, and that they know how to advocate their positions, what they think, how they can stand on their opinions and let it be solid. And then the last one is creativity and publication. So for me, I make my living off of my creative side and my logical side. And I want my students in my class to be able to do the same thing, to have that holistic, again, that holistic balance. So, my teaching philosophy is that good teaching needs to invoke the natural learning spirit of the child. It needs to instill accountability and help them become catalyzers, life changing their life through education, and that it needs to instill self awareness and self actualization. I can change my life through education, not just meaning formal education, but education all around me. What I see, hear, think, all of those things can change my awareness, and it can change the things I think, and it can help me grow. So, the AP journey, I am going to share this handbook that we are going to go through in a few moments. I want to know, what are your questions about the AP journey, because I want to make sure that I answer those questions. And welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're just joining us, I am going to share the handbook. I think I can just upload it. If the link is weird, I can upload it as a PDF. But I'm gonna put it as a PDF too, because it might act crazy. But this is the AP handbook that I will also send in an email so that everyone can have it. All right. So it is in the chat, and I will walk through that handbook, but I want to know, what are some questions that you have about the AP journey? And then we'll take a look through the handbook in a second. So, the two courses that I decided to take on, and the other educators that work with me through Yaya's Academy will be taking on more classes in science and math. For this year, we are focusing on African American Studies and literature. Not literature, AP Writing and Composition. AP Writing and Composition. So, before we go through the handbook and we think about the questions that you all may have in reference to this, when I teach African American Studies, AP African American Studies is going to go through those four things that I said to you as a part of my curriculum pedagogy. One is the African centered worldview, learning to look at our history, our story through our eyes and not anyone else's eyes. We've have a lot of history given to us where it's a story based on us, but it's not how we see it. And so this is very important through African American studies, that this will be taught through our eyes. So we won't have just a handful of African scholars that our society is comfortable with. We won't, looking at things through other people's eyes, and how we got these beautiful movies, Triple Eight, and we're going into Wakanda, and then there's, kind of a white savior in there somewhere. We have still some places afraid to talk about Malcolm X. And then even with figures like Martin Luther King, we get the one that's not the revolutionary side. And so we want to make sure that we're looking at our stories, that we are looking at the stories through our eyes. And fortunate for us and some of our scholars, we had a chance to work with Eye Education, where we do storytelling from the inside out. And we make sure that, we don't just get the orphan the hero, the great white hope that's embedded in our stories through other people's eyes. We want to make sure that the stories that we're looking at are authentic. They're told through our voice. They're told through what makes, as Bible Cass said, what makes black sense. What makes black sense in this story? How are we empowered? How are we affirmed? And what's really real about what happened? That's important again for our scholars to begin to look at themselves through our eyes, our culture, and not through somebody else's culture. So we can stand affirmed. So that's the basic thing, the biggest thing that's going to happen with this AP African Americans class. So the five senses, how do you see these things around us? Because it goes from the beginning of history through several movements, through African thought. And I want the scholars to be able to look around and see things in their world. Of course, deep scholarship, the ability to annotate, to break down text, pull out vocabulary, to make connections, make visualization. Those are the things that's going to be need for the collegiate level, especially when you're talking about philosophy and thought and what guides you. And then, of course, creativity. This class is going to be like a love letter to our people. There will be creative works where scholars will be able to interact with what they are learning and have it in a creative way. Biggest and most current thing that I can think of is the fact that we had Malcolm Jamal Warner's his Black History, and he went down the figures and he did the video. So there will be opportunities like that for scholars to not just learn it for learning information just for information's sake. They will touch it, feel it, embody it, talk to people about it, and they will portray it creatively. So this course, this AP course will be taught as a love letter to our people. And I'm excited about that. Now for the AP composition. Again, we focus on that African centered learning. And what we talk about in most of my classes dealing with English and writing, we start here. We start with this premise about how do we use words? How do we use words? And we talk to the scholars about words as a responsibility. So, number one, the power of your word in traditional culture, it is very important. Life, wisdom, transformative energy. We don't just say words just to say words. Well, that's not the intended purpose. We make our words count. So they are a creative force. We can make things happen through our word. And so we want to make sure that we are careful with that. We want to make sure that we honor the word as wisdom. Like we have Proverbs, pass down the words as wisdom. We want to make sure that there's storytellers, the ones who keep the history. So we are using our words as collective memory and identity. We want to make sure that we are using it in our spiritual practices to affirm ourselves, whatever those practices are in our house, to honor those who have come before us. We want to make sure that we're using our words to heal, to uplift each other, uplift ourselves. And we want to make sure that we are using words as conflict resolution. We are talking to people. We're having dialogue, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. We want to make sure that we are using it as conflict. And of course, storytelling. To storytelling. We learn through stories. That's how we started our education. And as adults, that's how it continues. I go into a lot of spaces. I do things with elders and I tell them stories. I bring a children's book and I bring out the wisdom because we forget as we get into the hustle and bustle of things. And so that is the premise of the writing class because I want them to know that their words matter, that their words are important, their words are a responsibility, and whatever they choose to write about, because again, they bring in the topic, there'll be various smaller projects that they will do, and then there will be one big paper that they will do. It is centered around still scholarship. I'm making sure that if it's a story, if it's a poem, where am I going? What's the beginning, middle, and end? So there is still the deep scholarship, even in the creative writing and the different forms of writing, and of course, creates creativity, bringing your genius. We talk about the genius is the uncommon ways that we see things. And so that is what we want to do is focus on voice, your voice in this writing phase. And so that's what the composition class will be. And so I'm going to get ready to go through the handbook to make sure we answer the logistical questions about it, but just to let you know how the course is going to work. There are different phases. In traditional culture, we talk about the two most important things that you can have is self-reliance and interdependence. Self-reliance and interdependence. And because the course is rigorous, I want to make sure that those two things are addressed in balance. And I want to make sure that the scholars feel supported. So for the self-reliance, there's a portion of the class which will have instructional videos that will allow scholars to build at their own pace. It'll be short videos, about 10 minutes. It might introduce a concept, a skill, and they'll be able to do that skill at their own pace, apply it. And then I'm going to jump back and forth because it works hand in hand. Self-reliance will come into the weekly class sessions in where we will be have able everyone will be able to give their contributions. If you read something in African American studies, what were the most important points? What did you make connections to? What did you have questions about? What is your thought? Contributions. What questions do you have? What can we get some peer suggestions for something that someone has a question about or what they brought out? And then I'm going to come back to the library sessions. So you start out solo on your own time, instructional videos that pours into the weekly sessions, interdependence. And then in between that, you also have foundation building activities, which will tie directly into like the pre-assessment. We will see what foundation building activities are needed, and that's a one-on-one conference with the family after the pre-assessment is done. And then you have some our advocacy sessions that you can, which is office times. You'll sign up for some office hours if you want to come one on one and still work through those things. So that is the self-reliance part. Then you have the interdependent part where you come as a class, and then there's also a library session, which is done by a former student. She just graduated from higher education. She is going to do the MIA literacy. She's going to assist the peers in research topics. She's going to hold a space where peers can come together and discuss the projects that they need to work on. So that is the interdependence piece. That is the support system that's built into this. And so now I'm going to journey to the handbook. I don't see any questions. If you have them now, you can put them in the chat or quickly unmute. I'm going to jump to the handbook. All right, here it is. All righty. Let me pull it up from mine so that it looks better. All right, let me go to this new share and I'm gonna go through the handbook, make sure that there are no questions about what's in the handbook. All right, this is a better view. And all right, so this is the AP handbook, and this was made. We're going to have a few cohorts of this class. We have we have a couple of homeschooling organizations or groups that will be doing AP, so a couple of different cohorts. All right, so the AP handbook, I'm gonna try to see if I can put it on 100%. This might be as big as it goes, y'all. So hopefully everybody can see it. All right, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay, so the AP handbook. It goes through the registration, the enrollment process for AP. I've explained a quick overview of how it would work. The registration steps, I'm gonna come back to the registration steps in a second. Let me go to the dates of the AP. We will start September 1st is an introductory week. We do not start any actual class time. We want to get everybody acclimated to what they would need for the AP course. And so that's what happens the week of September the 1st. The latest will to come in will be September 15th because the AP classes do end in the end of April because the test is going to be May. I have the, here we go. May 7th, the African American Studies test will be at noon. May 13th, the English language and composition will be at 8 a.m. We do not pick those dates. A college board picks those dates. So it's very important that we get started right at the beginning of September, get acclimated, get rocking and rolling, and then everyone is in by September the 15th because we don't want to make it where people have to catch up. That is a thing that we really, really want to avoid. And so the exam registration, most schools will have to put that registration in by November. So that again is why we have to follow specific deadlines with AP. So a few things that I want to say about AP is number one, if your scholar has schools that they're interested in, it's very important now that they get to look at those schools and the requirements and how they deal with AP. According to College Board, some schools require you to take the test, some schools do not. And so, of course, it's advisable go ahead and take the test because you don't know where you may end up. But check with the schools and see how they do AP or bring those credits in. What happens on our side, I know, is once we submit who's taking the test, then, or who is submitted enrolled in the class, the schools will be able to look the school up and say, okay, yes, I'm going to give you AP course credit because this school is listed in the database. The other thing I want to say about the testing is people are in different states. So the biggest thing to do is if you are deciding to take AP, to make sure you connect with a high school as soon as possible. Tests have to be ordered by November. And so make sure you get on the road to say, well, can my scholar uh, take the AP test at your school? What I've been told is that schools are not required to allow students to test who don't go to that school, even though I've had some people say that it wasn't a problem, they were able to test. But we want to make sure that that is done early. And as a backup, we are also working on becoming a testing site. I'm going to submit that paperwork in August, and I should hear back soon. And we'll be able to receive anyone from wherever, all over. We'll work out hotel arrangements and everything else if we need to become a testing site. But those testing deadlines are strict. So we want to make sure that we all, if you're thinking about AP, that you are checking with home schools as soon as possible to see where you may test. I'm also checking with a couple of schools where I used to teach to see if they will allow me to register students because I know they teach both courses that I'm offering. So I'm still in talks about that, but make sure you check with your homeschool for testing and check with any colleges potential that your scholar may want to go to and see how they take the AP credit. So, for any questions about that, making sure no questions. Okay. So for African American Studies, I have in here all of the course goals are listed in the copy that I'm going to send to you all with AP Studies is going to actually have the handbook. It's a thick book. It is a thick book for African American Studies and just about what it entails. This is the summary version. So it tells you about the course descriptions, what we're going to talk about, a mock exam, and they will have a research project, document analysis. That's what I was talking about. Annotation. We'll talk about themes, and then they will have a mock AP exam before they actually take the test. So this just talks about the weight of everything. There's a link. AP does have a textbook. That link is in here. We can in the future probably use different texts. This is a recommended textbook. And so we will start with that, but we will feel free to add additional readings that will be provided. So I'll look forward to accepting those from parents and other scholars. anything that you think would be a great addition to what we are studying. So Monday through Wednesday, we have the independent reading assignment. So there'll be some kind of skill being taught. There'll be an independent reading assignment. We'll have a live class on Thursday. And Friday, there will be an individual office appointment for if there is more support needed. And then study groups as needed. So again, interdependence and self-reliance is how this course is built. So that is AP African American Studies. Four, and here's the syllabus that further breaks it down. Okay, and so these are the topics that they have. And so that's a chance to kind of look through that and give me your feedback or suggestions. And so now moving on to the writing, and it's going to be advanced writing, of course. The AP, I always forget, I keep saying literature, it's not the literature, but the AP course, composition. And so we'll be talking about grammar and structure, identity through storytelling. Again, getting back to the things of how we use our word, how to build persuasive and analytical writing, and developing writing portfolios for scholarships in college. So you have narrative writing, argumentative, literary analysis, creative writing, and final portfolios. So it's just an in-depth writing journey that is meant to strengthen voice. So this handbook tells you the components, the grading policy, all of that, and any materials that will be read. And so for this one, because they will spend a lot of time reading, reflecting, and writing, Mondays I will have an instructional assignment that they can take their time to apply. Then we will have a power hour. Let's share what you have, y'all. Let's come in and share what we have. And then we have the office meeting times. And then, of course, all of this is adjusted as need be. It's adjusted as need be. This is our schedule that we're starting off with, and we'll see how it goes. So again, this is meant to be an independent journey, a collective journey, a supportive journey. All of those things helping them to be able to do things as business owners, as collegiate, all of that. And so, with that being said, registration and enrollment goes through this process, and then I'll stop again to see if there are any questions. Number one, there is the online registration form. If you are ready to begin, that takes the basic information and then the application or enrollment fee. What that does is once you apply, then your part is done for now. Your scholar will take the AP pre-assessment. They'll answer questions and they will do the AP pre-assessment. Then what happens is once I look at the assessment, we'll schedule a time and we will go over where the foundational needs may be for your scholar. So this beginning session is very, very, very important. I may put your scholar on an app called No Red Ink, where they may need to spend some time in developing thesis. They may need to spend some time in outlining. They may need to spend some time in doing main idea. So those are the foundational things that may be needed to enhance their grade. They may need to spend some time if it's African American studies. I may help them spend some time with saying, okay, I want you to practice these sheets and I want you to practice making connections. I want you to practice asking questions. So this pre-form is very important because it lets me know it's not a you won't get in if you pass. It's no pass or fail. It's like, where are you? What is needed in order to help you to be successful? And what is going to support you through this class, through this independent work? And so that's what happens in that session. And then from there, you move on to enrolling in the course. So I try to make it easy. Three steps, three steps, and a lot of support. So before I finish up, I'm going to ask again, are there any questions? Any questions? Okay, no questions. Then I'm going to finish up, and then my email will also be on the list if you all have questions that you need to email me later. And so I'm going to finish up with this, the last parts.
I have a question.
Yes, what is your question? I am here.
Hi, is this a virtual program?
Yes, I'm sorry if that wasn't clear.
No
Yes,
problem.
it is.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Yes, it is. It is. I want to have the time to, because I know we have so many things covered when we have homeschooling and homeschool collabs. And then I wanted to make sure that we had this piece of advanced placement, and then eventually we'll be working to offer dual enrollment. So I want to make sure that our scholars across the nation do have that opportunity in the homeschool.
Thank
Uh,
you so much.
yeah, so I want to make sure. So we're trying to get them together. So we're gonna be looking at a lot of different opportunities for homeschoolers across the nation to get these college credits and to get what they need. So we're looking at a lot of different programs. So yes, it is virtual. Thank you
Thank
for
you so much.
that. Okay. All right, so you all, wrapping up some fears that I want to make sure, because we got to talk about what's real, right? We want so many things for our scholars. We have to talk about what's real. And so some fears about AP, academic pressure and performance anxiety. I want parents to know that from working with iEducation, we have also been introduced, and we will continue to be introduced into dealing with all kind of feelings as messengers, walking scholars through any fears that they may have about the things that they're facing. So we make space to address that. Give them a chance to feel what they feel, because it could be a lot of pressure. It could be a lot of pressure. We don't have to worry about the lowering of the GPA. That's out, because we will really work to get the scholar where he or she needs to be. That's the bottom line. It's work. It's going to be work for me, and it'll be work for the scholar, and it'll be work for me. So we in this together. And this new term, I have not heard a lot about this term, imposter syndrome, but it's popping up so much. But rest assured, I make sure that scholars know they belong. They have that genius, and I am here. My job as a teacher is I help scholars reach their highest height without fears of failure. That is my specialty. In 20 years of education, that is my specialty, my promise. I've worked with scholars with all learning levels. I work with scholars on the spectrum. This is what I do. This is what I do, helping scholars to know this is where they belong. And so those fears will be addressed, workload and time management, which is why we added the library portion. Novena and Tombi Kaise is very, very, she's very great to be in that place if they need help. She know what it's like to go through this. As a scholar with a lot of workload, she'll be doing classes in the library session on time management, giving them a space to ask questions, giving them a space from someone who has just finished the high school experience and is in the collegiate level to understand what they need for support. And so we will make sure that we are going in with the schedule, knowing what's important, and that we will work on time management and workload. So those are things that will be addressed. Not understanding the material. I was the 2010 reading teacher of the year in my district, so I can tell y'all I know what I'm doing to support comprehension and all of those things. Comprehension and writing, those are my babies. And so, and we will make it, our goal is to be a village, a very supportive village, so we will make it a safe space. And then there's again addressing the fear of judgment and the fear of being the only one struggling. We're gonna have real talks, real conversations. And so the roads that are the most difficult will be the ones that's most rewarding. And we're going to walk the scholars through that. So to let y'all know again, I've been doing this. I've been teaching y'all since I was 8 years old. I had a 4-year-old cousin when I was 8 who couldn't read. And I was like, and she was scared about starting school. She was really scared. She hadn't been to preschool. And I said, you know what? I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you how to read. So I got my little flashcards And my cousin learned, she went to school, she graduated, she's a whole grown person right now. And her first teacher was her cousin, me. And so just know that I will love on these children, love them to success, and be there to support them. So I got them. Even if they don't feel like, if it's a challenge and they have a lot of fear, I have them. And I want them to know I have them and I will be there to help them as much as possible. So, other side thoughts that people may have about this again, I am transparent in everything that I do. So, understanding AP, of course, if you're in a public school, the AP courses are they have those whatever grants they have. We know in homeschooling, we're working on things like grants and scholarships and different things like that. And I have seen some AP classes go up to like $2,900 for the year. So we have that big range. What we looked at that was sustainable for us is that we do $250 for 9 week sessions. There are three of them. So in that space, you're getting college prep, collegiate writing, and deep analysis. I've always been one in the 20 years of my public school. I've always gone beyond what was being offered in public school. I've always done that, whether it was 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 6th, 7, or 8. So you're getting all of those in a session and what is sustainable for us. And so, registering on our site, just to let you all know, we've put everything in there. They got a firm, Afterpay, all kinds of ways, PayPal, all kinds of ways that people can register for classes on our site. And so, and y'all, it's my 20th year in education. My 20th year in education. So all my ELA classes are 20% off. 20% off to study my to take any ELA class. And so that's the part we try to get something that's sustainable and affordable for parents. And then side thoughts, what if I don't pass? I don't say that that is a big issue because one or two things. I'm going to be there to support your scholar all the way. I will be offering this class every single year, and I will be offering for those in the future AP prep classes in the summer. So there are ways that in due time, scholars will get through this class and we're going to get through everything that we need to get through. And so other side notes, if people they're not sure if they want the college credit, you will still again you will get that collegiate analysis and deep writing that you can apply to entrepreneurship, which is another class that we have. And we definitely going to make sure that it's fun and it's not another stressor. So those are some side thoughts that you and your scholars may have. We want to address it because those things are real. They're real. So I want to make sure that we address and we know. And so, with us, again, any questions that you all have, please come to me. Any thoughts that you have, please come to me. I don't want you to have doubts when you enroll your scholars in these AP courses. So, we guarantee growth opportunity options. Growth opportunity options. You will see your scholar grow. This is my 20-year promise as an educator teaching from kindergarten, pre K to collegiate. You will see growth in your scholars. I know what they should have learned at the basic literacy. I know what they should have had at the middle school level. I know what they should have had at the collegiate level. I mean, at the high school level. And I know what they need in the collegiate level. You will have growth. There will be plenty of opportunity for them to show what they know with their community, with other classmates. And so, again, 90%, that little scale that we have as teachers, 90% you get 90% of the learning by teaching others. This will be a chance for scholars, again, to write a love letter, whether through their words or whether through history, a love letter to our community. And there will be options. If it really, really becomes like not at this time, sometimes we have a not at this time moment. There are comparable ELA classes that we can slide your scholar in, and your scholar will still get a grade, a ELA grade. So the growth opportunity options are there. So if you think this journey is for your scholar, I'm going to do 10 slides for each course because I do want to have a one-on-one as much as possible with all of these scholars to find out what interests them, to find out what maybe fears that they have, to find out their interests, because I use scholars' interests to teach them. With my autistic children, I'm like, okay, you like writing plays. Guess what? I'm gonna teach you grammar through you. Like he likes to draft movies, so I'm gonna do that. Another one like basketball, so I was like, okay, we're gonna learn through sports. At another baby, she liked music. We learned through music. And so I really want the time to cultivate one-on-one relationships. And so if you're interested, the first thing, even if you're not 100%, the first thing that you could do is the pre-testing schedule. So you can sign up for that. And I'm going to put the code in. I mean, the code is culture for the pre-testing schedule. The code is culture. Even if you want to do that and nothing more, I will still give an assessment to your scholar to let them know the areas where they may need to work on vocabulary, grammar, those things. I will still go over that. I will still go over that. Still give you some of our free resources. Let me put the code culture. Discount code is culture. I will still do those things, even if you decide not to take the AP class. That is kind of that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So that's the link. The discount code is culture. So you all have that. And then I am going to put my email address in the chat, y'all. That's all I got. I kept my word. I kept my word under a power hour. Look at that. And of course, we had quite a few people registered for today. I will go ahead and send them the recording so that everybody has the opportunities. And I'll be meeting with a couple of other homeschool groups this week so we can get our scholars prepared. Get our scholars prepared. I always say homeschool students, we're going to show up. We're going to show out when we step in the workplace and when we step into any circle. We're going to show up, we're going to show out, and we're going to be prepared. So I thank you all so much for being here. I am going to put all of my contact information in here, my main website, the school's website, and my email address. All right. I appreciate you all. Now I will turn it over to you all. If you have any questions or comments, let me know what you got. I think I answered everything about the testing. That was the most important thing. African American Studies has a textbook. Um, I think that's the most important thing, is making sure we start in September, making sure you find out where you want to test, and because they need to order in November. All right, so I'm opening it up. Any final questions? Okay. Well, again, thank you all. Okay, questions? Oh, there you are. How are you?
Hi. No. I just wanted to say thank you. This was awesome.
Okay, yes, no worries. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Again, please email me any questions that you have. Please, I want us to go into this with power and joy because our babies deserve it. So, any questions that you have, please, please, please reach out. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. If no one else has anything, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for hanging. It was a power 50 minutes. What? All right. So I would say Odabo, everyone. Again, reach out if you have any questions. Let me know how I can be of service for AP or if you have any other ELA questions. Again, I live, love education. Check us out. YouTube station where I'm giving parents information on vocabulary, comprehension. All is there. So even if you don't rock with me in AP, it's so much information there on the channel that I just want to help this process. It's hard. I know it's hard. I
Yeah.
want to help this process. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Odabo. Y'all have a good evening. Quiet, Harry.
Good night.